Please note that as of now, you can support the channel by becoming member using the join button under the video. Members can get access to special members-only badges, emojis, posts, polls, short videos and long-format videos. Thanks in advance. Now, let's play the video. Hello, you wonderful critical thinkers. Today I want to show you another completely stupid video of, yes, yet again, a Christian apologist. Per usual, this is a guy who thinks he has valid arguments to help him defend the idea that his supposed God actually exists. And I can't say this often enough. On this channel I expose the nonsense produced by the bottom-of-the-barrel Christian apologists, and also the nonsense of the supposedly professional, educated and famous Christian apologists. And time again it's totally clear that there is very little difference between those two ends of the spectrum. They basically all use the same nonsensical arguments that prove nothing and that have been demonstrated to be nonsense over and over again. And sometimes people ask me, isn't it a bit harsh to call the ideas of these people nonsense? Well, no, that's not harsh. It's a necessary truth that needs to be exposed. These people spread misinformation, often about science. Some of them blatantly lie. They de-educate the public, and they sabotage critical thinking. They sustain common misconceptions, superstitions, and delusions. They uphold a system of child indoctrination, blind obedience, and sometimes intolerance and hatred that have plagued this world for centuries, and many of them are making money from it. So we need to keep exposing the nonsense of Christian apologists and other fools and charlatans, like those who proclaim the existence of a flat earth, talking trees, angels, demons, ghosts, and other rubbish. Having said all of that, let's have a look at a guy whose video is called Atheists, Here is Proof. God exists. Yeah, sure. Wait. Class 1? You actually see yourself as kind of a teacher. You think you're educating people? Oh boy.
Natural revelation is evidence or proof from nature or from the world that supports the existence of God.
So this guy states that there is something that he calls natural revelation, and it supposedly proves the existence of his gods, but I've got the feeling that his evidence is going to be embarrassing hogwash that even a 10-year-old could expose in a matter of seconds.
For example, we can use the rules of logic, and we can look at creation, can look around.
Yeah, stop right there, please. It's mind-boggling that there are still people using such profoundly ignorant arguments. No, I haven't even heard his entire argument yet, but there is no need for that. He starts off with using the word creation. What he means by that is the creations made by his supposed God, according to his silly Bible book. Look, you cannot prove the existence of your God by using an argument that already presupposes the existence of your God. How can you be so dumb to try this while referencing the laws of logic one sentence earlier? Look, using this type of argument, I can prove the existence of Merlin the Wizard. Just have a look at Merlin's creations, like Stonehenge. So that proves that Merlin exists. That type of argument is completely useless exactly because of the laws of logic that you just mentioned. It brings you back to square one and you have proven nothing. I hope this will not get even more embarrassing, but I won't hold my breath.
See trees, shrubs, the sky, oceans, water, land, people, materials. And we say, look at this beautiful creation. Well, if there is a creation, then that necessarily presupposes that there is a creator of creation. Everything that is created has its own creator.
But don't you see how stupid your argument is? You haven't proven that trees, oceans, and the sky were created. You just called them creations, most likely because that is what your silly Bible book says. But all we really know about trees, oceans, and the sky is that they exist. Maybe this will help you to understand why your argument is so stupid. Forget the word creation for a moment. Don't use it. It's just a word from the Bible book that 6 billion people in the world don't care about whatsoever. Just use the actual names of the stuff that you're talking about. So then your argument is, well, I've got evidence for the existence of my God. Trees, oceans, and the sky exist. And then what? Please demonstrate that the existence of a tree proves that your God exists. It doesn't, just like the existence of Stonehenge does not prove the existence of Merlin the Wizard. I can't make it more simple than this.
We look at a house.
Oh no, you're going to make it even worse.
And we see this piece of architecture, and we immediately recognize that there was an architect behind the architecture that created that piece of property. We look at a piece of jewelry and we say that there's a jeweler who created that piece of jewelry. We look at a car and we automatically recognize that there was a mechanic, an electrician who built that car, who created that car. Everything that is created has its own creator.
Oh, this argument being the comparison of trees and oceans with, for example, houses, watches and cars is most embarrassing on multiple levels. First, because really, a 10-year-old kid with an average intelligence can debunk this argument for the total nonsense it is. We know that houses, watches and cars are designed and created because we've got billions of examples of houses, watches and cars of which we can actually prove that they were designed and created. We can study the design blueprints, we can talk to the designers, we can observe the design process, we can examine the materials and components, we can study the manufacturing facilities, etc. So there is mountains of evidence that prove that the billions of houses, watches and cars that exist were all designed and created. But we have zero examples of evidence that prove that trees and oceans and mountains were designed and created. So the comparison with houses, watches and cars is totally useless and proves nothing. And what is perhaps the most embarrassing is that this has been explained on the internet and specifically on YouTube 1,000 times. And Christian apologists, of course, have never been able to counter this refutation of this useless argument. The fact that you still use this argument shows that you never looked into this. You never studied the refutations of this ridiculously stupid argument.
So that is one piece of evidence, you could say.
Well, it's only evidence for the fact that you are a complete cheesecake for brains.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard and read this many times over the years, is that if the sun were even ever so slightly, like an inch or less, closer or further away from where it is positioned, this earth would cease to exist. Human existence would cease.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. This guy is a Christian. He presents his video as a class, so he thinks he's educating people. And he just told us that if the sun was only a few inches further away from Earth or closer to Earth, we would all die. Again, this guy thinks he's teaching people, yet he never, ever even bothered to find out if his story is true. But of course his story is complete and utter nonsense. In January, the Earth is 3 million miles closer to the Sun than in July. 3 million miles. Yet, we're still alive. That 3 million miles difference doesn't even cause the seasons. It barely has influence on the seasons. The seasons are caused by the tilt of the Earth. This guy's argument is so dumb. He actually thinks that the distance between the Earth and the Sun is balanced in inches. So if the planet would have been a few inches closer to the sun, he thinks we would all burn. Dude, how about your neighbors upstairs? Are they all right? Because during daytime, they live 10 feet closer to the sun than you do. Shouldn't you warn them? No. You spinach, lemon, salmon, spaghetti sauce for brains. No, the Earth is not precisely balanced in a way that a few inches closer or further away from the sun would be a disaster. Maybe drop that silly Bible storybook of yours and pick up an actual book with facts so that you learn something. Am I too harsh now? No, I'm not. This guy is spreading misinformation that could lead to people believing total nonsense about the universe we live in. That is damaging to society. Guys like these need to be exposed. They make the world a dumber place. We must resist this dumbification of the world and keep exposing these idiots. Thanks for watching.